Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Bird's Nest. Please like, comment, and subscribe. If the little ad came up, push that thing down, and just press a like real quick. Just press that like, and go on press that subscribe while you at it. I ain't gonna bother you. Too much, but go on and subscribe so you can be tuned into my recaps and during the preseason, all things Shedeur, my personal favorite quarterback. So let's get right into it. Of course, Joe Flacco was named the starting quarterback yesterday for the Cleveland Browns, and that was to be expected because of the injuries. I don't know if you guys know it or not, but Kenny Pickett and Dylan Gabriel are Kevin Stefanski's guys. So whoever picked Flacco, and maybe they picked Flacco to just challenge Kenny and try to get him to become something. Y'all know how hard they be trying. They be trying with these mid people. I don't know what it is with Cleveland because they've been through all kind of personnel changes. There have been multiple GMs, multiple coaches, but they keep doing the same thing over and over again. So they wanted Stefanski. I won't say they. It's Stefanski. He's the coach. He wanted Kenny Pickett. He thinks that Kenny Pickett can be something for him. Although he wasn't nothing for anybody else, he wants him to be something for him. He's two-time coach of the year. And so he can make something out of Kenny Pickett. He wanted Kenny to be his guy. And the first time that Kenny tried to ball out and be better than he's ever been, he hurt himself. Because his body ain't even used to doing all that, what he was trying to do. And that's why Flacco got the job by default. Coming in, everybody was like, Flacco, it's going to be Flacco. Guys, Flacco's old. They know that. That's why they named him the starter for the first game. That's what they called him. That's what Cleveland called him. The starter for the first game. Not QB1. The starter for the first game. Because Stefanski wants Kenny Pickett to come back. And just like they put Dylan Gabriel over Shedeur when it doesn't even make a lick of sense, they're going to do the same thing with Kenny. I can assure you, Cleveland fans, if y'all think that Joe Flacco about to be your quarterback for 5, 6, 7 games, you are sadly mistaken. And I don't care how he plays. I don't care if he win every game for the first 3 games. Until Kenny Pickett get better, that's as long as he'll be able to play. And then they'll put Kenny out there, and Kenny's going to stink up the place because Kenny is a less than mid quarterback. He's slightly below mid. No, he's significantly below mid. So he's going to go out there and he's not going to do good. And then they're going to put Dylan out there because he is Stefanski's guy. There is nothing that Shedeur can do to change that. Nothing. I don't care if he go out there for 400 yards and 5 touchdowns. He's not getting in front of Dylan Gabriel because that's Stefanski's guy. And not only that, I firmly believe that Stefanski doesn't even like Shedeur. You know how I always say, Shedeur is touchy-feely, huggy. He hangs all over people when he likes them. He touches them when he's talking to them. He hugs them, comes in close. He be all up in their personal space when he likes them. We've never seen him do that with Stefanski. We've never seen him do that with Pickett. And we never seen him do it with Gabriel. He does it with Flacco. He loved Flacco. He loved Andrew Berry, regardless of what we think about him. Shedeur loved him. So, Stefanski, he knows. I think Shedeur knows. This guy doesn't like me. Dylan doesn't like me. We already had beef 2 years ago when we played them. And the coach was talking crazy about us because they jealous that Colorado gets the spotlight, a.k.a. all their games televised. That's the spotlight. And they're jealous. Because they're like, we're better than you. We got all these 5-star recruits. And you don't have nobody. and you get to be on TV every week. Because you are entertainers. And we are competitors. So when Dylan said that, he was talking about Shedeur. Look, I'm moderate. I listen to all perspectives, all point of views. And I weigh it. Hey, y'all seen me. I talked about Shedeur at the whiteboard in a way that maybe his fan base wouldn't like. I'm just being honest and true to myself. So, I swear, I try to be as unbiased as I can. But it just is what it is, guys. So, there's no way that Shedeur is getting off that QB4 until Kenny Pickett goes down, and he's going to be given a lot of leeway, so he'll play a lot of games, I assume. I could be wrong, but we'll see. I think that once he gets better and they pull Joe Flacco out of there, because that's what they're going to do, and they put Kenny in, Kenny might get 7, 8, 9 games to stink before they put Dylan Gabriel in. Wasting these rookies, both of them. Wasting their talent, not even taking a look at them. But Kenny's still young, so I think that's what he's like. Okay, we'll throw Flacco out there till Kenny get better. Gosh darn! And then Kenny will go out there and he's gonna try to do something for Stefanski. Maybe it will help him to have a coach that believes in him as much as Stefanski does. So what the other guys were competing for, and that's Shedeur and Dylan, not even Flacco. So just like Shedeur was not in the conversation for the QB1, he was never going to get that job, guys. So I don't know why people were shocked that he didn't get it. He was never going to get that job because he wasn't even in the running. He was the only one that didn't get first team reps. Dylan could have won the job if he had the ability, because he got all the reps. And Kenny certainly could have won the job because Stefanski wants him to have the job. I really believe he called it a competition to challenge Kenny. So that's who's going to come in. Everybody else, or Shedeur, could have been competing for 2, but really, not really. He wasn't given the opportunity. Stefanski was not giving him the opportunity. He consistently had the least reps. But then he balled out in the game. See, that's the problem. He balled out in the game, and I believe that if he could have stacked that on all 3 preseason games, he might have been able to move up ahead of Dylan. He ain't getting ahead of Kenny. Stefanski wants Kenny. So I don't know. I'd be confused. I don't know if y'all watch Star Trek. I'm like Data. If the information coming in doesn't make sense, I just be confused. So I don't know what to make of Cleveland. All I know is that I want Shedeur out of there, but somebody made a point. Nobody wanted Shedeur, guys. They didn't want him. And I don't know if anything's happened in Cleveland that would make them want him. Yeah, he practices hard, but the Raiders and the Giants already knew that. Like, they know everything about Shedeur. And Shedeur's personality is so off-putting to them that they didn't want him. So I don't know if seeing him working hard in Cleveland is going to make other teams want him. I don't know if seeing him ball out in a game, because he balled out at Colorado. I don't know if balling out in the preseason game is going to make other teams want him. I don't know if the fact that the Saints do not have a quarterback, period, is going to make them want Shedeur. Who's another one? The Colts don't have a quarterback, period. Will they want Shedeur? There's so many teams that could use him, but they hate his personality. So I'll say this. See, like I said, I can look at all points of view, and unless it's something ridiculous, I can understand most point of views. And so I haven't watched, is it called Prime on Prime? I haven't watched that show. I gotta watch it. I've been catching clips on YouTube, and Shedeur, for one thing, is constantly in competition with his father. He wants to be better than Deion so bad. And he missed the mark because his goal was to be drafted higher than Deion, who was drafted at 5th, if I recall correctly. He was the number 5 pick in the first round, Deion. And so Shedeur wanted to go higher than that. He just knew he would, but he didn't. So he didn't beat his father there. I know that drives him crazy. But he competes with Deion. Imagine competing with Deion Sanders, but that's what he wants, man. He wants to be better than him in every way. And he talks about that a lot. So people might say, oh, he's cocky, he's arrogant, he's this, he's that. And I don't know, maybe he is. He's not personable and charismatic like Shiloh. They don't have to be the same. And he doesn't have, I'm not charismatic either. You know, I accept that about myself. And it's okay. I'm normal, like I'm average. You know, people could take me or leave me, you know. It's okay. Why can't it be okay for Shedeur? Because he's competitive? Because he thinks he's the ish? Because he is the ish? I don't know. Even that wide receiver that they just signed, he got the same deal, so he'll make the same money as Shedeur. His contract is a year shorter, lucky him, but his whole contract is guaranteed. Shedeur got $400,000 guaranteed. Like they stuck it to Shedeur. That's how much they hate his personality, guys. So I don't even know. Like, I've been calling for him to be traded. I'm praying that someone is calling about Shedeur. He's the best they got. Matter of fact, if you're calling about anybody other than Shedeur, then you're just as bad as Cleveland in terms of knowing how to pick quarterbacks. And you really don't care. Because as you all may not know, NFL teams make money whether they win or not. I haven't heard word of an NFL team being in the red. Even Cleveland, whose games don't get televised, the television money, that's money. But Haslam isn't going to go broke because his team been stinking for 20 years, ever since he been owning it. He's still going to make his money. He's good. He don't care. And he can't force Stefanski. I mean, he could force him. Really, you would have to fire him. He does not like Shedeur. So forcing him to coach Shedeur, I don't know how that will work out. Trying to force him to do it. So that's where we are. Flacco is QB1 as expected because Kenny Pickett is still injured, and at most Shedeur could have been QB2, but the depth chart came out and he's QB4. But I don't know how true that depth chart is because, as I think I told you guys already, a former NFL coach that's on the panel of one of these sports shows said depth chart means nothing. The public depth chart means absolutely nothing. Teams do not like putting out depth charts. The NFL makes them put it out, and so they'll say anything. Some assistant or something will come up to him and say, "It's time to put out the depth chart," and they'll be like, "Okay, put out whatever you said last week." Like, that's how they feel about the depth chart. So it doesn't really mean anything normally. But the fact of the matter is, the two guys that are ahead of Shedeur on the depth chart are Stefanski's guys. And so he's going to be hard-pressed to publicly put Shedeur above them, even with Kenny being injured for the last 3 weeks. Almost 4. Is it 4? Something like that. So, yeah, I think we get into 4. I can't remember. So, he said they can't keep 4 quarterbacks. regardless of what Andrew Berry said, which also makes me think him and Andrew Berry may not be on the same page. Because Andrew said they could keep 4, and Stefanski said it's not realistic. So we'll see who wins that battle. But if Stefanski feels it's not realistic, and he sells the owner on that, and he sells the front office on that, Shedeur is gone. And if another team doesn't want him, can you imagine Shedeur out of the league? So, that brings me to this part. I believe, I pray I'm wrong, but I believe that the only way Shedeur is going to get a fair shake in the NFL is if Deion comes and coaches him. And Deion done went and signed that 5-year contract with Colorado just so coaches in the NFL would feel comfortable that he wouldn't come for their job if Shedeur was on their team. Dallas wants, or at least Dallas wanted Deion. And I believe that he could say, all right, Dallas, you want me? I'm coming. I'll come. But my son comes with me. You don't have to give him nothing. You don't have to. I ain't saying he needs to be QB1. You already got a quarterback, and he's aging, which is perfect. You already got a quarterback. That's cool. But he needs a fair shot. So, and if he wins the job, he wins the job. And if he doesn't, he doesn't. But he's coming. I believe that that's the only way that Shedeur's going to get a fair shake in the NFL. And apparently, he has a different technique for learning plays that other NFL coaches are not interested in doing. They want to do things the way they always do it, because they're not innovative. They're not trying to change. They're trying to do the same thing over and over and over again, and they ain't even trying to get the best out of the players. So, if Shedeur, Deion is the Shedeur whisperer, like Shedeur is the wide receiver whisperer, then maybe they need to be together. And I hate that for Colorado, because Deion's not done in Colorado. He's got work to do there. There's so many things I want to see him do in Colorado, and I actually would like to see Deion eventually become like a coach's coach, to teach these other coaches, because they're just not on his level of building boys into men instead of creating criminals or rewarding criminal behavior, bad behavior. That's something Deion does not do. These other teams do it. That's why they wind up drafting people and then they get a charge. And now they can't even play for a while. Now they suspended. The daggone Quinshawn not even practicing. Well, in that Quinshawn case, the fact that the young lady gave the police pictures of injuries, but then they seen pictures from the trip that's probably in Quinshawn's camera, and she has no injuries, in my mind, he's innocent. So you can't hold that against him, but they holding it against him. They are still holding it against him and trying to use it in contract negotiations. The players need to rise up against these people. It's up to them to stand up to these people. Like, they all have to do it. It can't be a few doing it. They all have to do it and get them to stop doing this nonsense. They're holding Quinshawn captive. They won't sign his contract. They don't want to give him a fully guaranteed contract, although they just gave one to that other guy who got off. But I don't know if he got off with the evidence that Quinshawn got off with, which is, we got pictures of the girl from the same period and she didn't have no bruises. So, I don't know. I don't know about them and holding him hostage and not signing his contract and not caring, even though they don't have a good running back right now, besides Njoku. who, from what I hear, has been inconsistent, but who even knows if that's his fault? I don't even know. So we'll see what happens. We got some weeks to go. It's not even that far. It ain't no more than 2 weeks. We will know if Shedeur is going to be a Cleveland Brown at the start of the season. But Stefanski said they were getting rid of somebody, and the depth chart got Shedeur at 4. He said they can't keep. It's unrealistic for them to keep 4 quarterbacks on the roster. And then people were saying, well, if you put Shedeur on the practice squad, somebody's going to take him. They didn't take him in the draft. I don't even know. Like, I'm so confused, guys. I don't know what's happening. So, that's where we are. Shedeur's still QB4 according to the public depth chart. And those people trying to pretend that Dillon Gabriel is an NFL quarterback because he had, well, those third down conversions are dope. I ain't gonna minimize what he did. On those 2 drives. Those were good drives, man. But a touchdown drive and a field goal is not better than Shedeur's 2 touchdowns. Well, and 3 touchdown drives. And no turnovers. And I don't care that Shedeur should have had an interception, just like I don't care that Dillon's interception was allegedly not his fault. It was an interception that he threw. He threw that ball in traffic. He threw it. It was his fault. How y'all think the players feel? Hell, even the coaches. Because for the interception, they blame the wide receiver. And for the fumble, no, let me not say they. Let me say it right. Let me start over. For the interception, Stefanski blamed the wide receiver. All interceptions aren't created equal. And for the fumble, Stefanski blamed the coaches. How do you think they feel? Let me tell you, I was at the game. And I was hoping to catch a picture of Shedeur and Dillon together. They won't never together. They wasn't together. In fact, he is short. He's short. So there were plenty of times that I lost sight of him. But at no time did I see Dillon Gabriel with Shedeur, Flacco, or even Kenny Pickett. Shedeur and Flacco are like this. Shedeur seems to adore that man. They were together the whole time. Kenny Pickett would come around every now and again, but he didn't just stand there with them like Shedeur and Flacco. Shedeur and Flacco were together and in Njoku most of the time at this game. And Kenny Pickett every now and again would come around. I think he was walking up and down the field more as the play moved. Flacco didn't really care about that. But Dillon was never, like, Dillon would be by himself, guys. And I think that is because of the favoritism that Stefanski shows to him. We've been hearing about the word coming from the locker room. They want Shedeur. They want Shedeur and Flacco. Those are their QB1 and 2. The team's QB1 and 2 is Flacco and Shedeur. Stefanski's is Dillon and Kenny, and they get preferential treatment. I was telling y'all, and I know a lot of y'all haven't been watching my earlier videos because I was just growing and whatever, but OTAs, mandatory minicamp was all about developing Dillon and Kenny. They got all the reps. And Dillon got most of the reps. And there were 2 times during those 2 periods when Flacco got 0 reps. Nobody talked about that. Well, they blew it off as he doesn't need reps. No. Then how come in training camp he got all the reps then? No, y'all was trying to make Dylan and Kenny better than Flacco and Shedeur. The two that the team want because they see that they're ballers. Now, Flacco wasn't going to stay in there long. Flacco wasn't going to last long. So you put Flacco out there through those hard games. If you don't want to throw Shedeur in there, I say throw his little butt in there. Throw him in there and see what he can do. Make him learn. Let him learn from those playoff teams in the game. That's what I think. Now, I don't know everything, but that's what I think. And then, as soon as you get past that, if you're so worried about that, I think that's the first 4 or 5 games. Then comes Shedeur time. In a normal world, that's how it would have worked. Based on performance. Based on performance. And the fact that Joe was a vet. Based on performance. That's how it would have gone. But Cleveland operates in the twilight zone. Stefanski, who can't pick a quarterback to save his life, is just going to do what he want to do. Mr. Coach of the Year. How'd he get that? How'd he get that? I don't know. Anyway, so that's that. I just wanted to come on. Don't fret. Flacco was going to be QB1 or else it was going to be Kenny Pickett. It was never. Dylan could have won it if he was capable of doing that, which he's not. It was never going to be Shedeur. The best we can hope for Shedeur is QB2, which is a great position to be in, no matter who QB1 is, whether it's Flacco or Kenny Pickett, because neither one of them, Pickett ain't going to show you nothing. And Flacco can't show you anything because he's 40. He going to get out there and he may have a decent game or two. I don't know. I don't even expect much. He did bad for the Colts last year. And which is why they still don't have a quarterback. Because the same guys he was over there with, they still there. I think there's another one there. But they both bad. They're doing bad in the preseason. And then also the preseason doesn't tell everything. So we still have a lot of football to go. But we're interested in Shedeur. I'm interested to see what happens with him. If a team will pick him up, or will he just be cut and wind up in Canada or the UFL? Is that the name of it? I got a USFL. But wherever he goes, I'm going to follow him. And I'm going to buy his jersey. So, the NFL could do whatever they want to do. I'm riding with Shedeur. And people's right to be who they are and not have to be who you want them to be. A certain position got to act a certain way, and everybody else can do the crimes. They're allowed to be criminals, but not the quarterback. He can't even wear jewelry. Okay, Jalen Hurts can, but we dog him out too. And we going to keep dogging him as long as he wear that gosh darn jewelry. Man, the NFL can kiss my grits. Anyway, thanks for watching, y'all. And again, if you didn't like or subscribe at the front, you can do it at the back. Either one works for me. Thanks for joining, and thank you for all of the discussion on my past 2 videos. I really appreciate the comments, and I appreciate all of you. I really do. Thanks, guys. Y'all have a good day. Mwah.